right, we will go on the record in the matter 15 FA14 in re the support or maintenance of H.J.M. Appearances are, we have appearing in person, guardian ad litem, Kate Murtaugh. We have mother Athea Herman without counsel. We have Bradley Maslow in person without counsel. We're set today for a half-day motion hearing for motion to change physical placement as well as legal custody. I believe there's cross motions, if I'm remembering correctly. There was a motion filed, I believe, Ms. Herman, you filed a motion to amend or to change to a different school. Is that correct? Or you did not? You're just working off the old motion, and then it was motion by Mr. Maslow, which you are asking to change physical placement and custody because of the fact that Ms. Herman moved from a different location. And I believe at one time, wasn't the child residing with you most of the
Yes.
time?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, so this is your motion then, Mr. Maslow. I'm going to have both parties please stand up, raise your right hand, and be sworn in.
Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to provide in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes.
All right, you may be seated. Mr. Maslow, do you have any witnesses here today?
I do. I have behind me my mother and also a family friend.
Okay, and do you have witnesses?
My husband.
Okay, all witnesses are going to be sequestered. That means you have to sit outside until you're called to testify. Once you provide testimony, you'll be able to sit here for the remainder amount of the time, okay? All right. So, Mr. Maslow, this is your case and your burden. So you may either testify yourself right now, or you can call your first witness, okay? It might be easier if you testify first. And both of you, neither of you are represented by an attorney. So that means your testimony to me can be more of a narrative, like a story, okay? And then the other party will get to question you. I'll ask you questions if I have any, and then the guardian ad litem will be able to question you as well, okay? As it relates to your witnesses, you must act as your own attorney. That means you must ask them questions and they must respond as such, okay? All right. So, Mr. Maslow, you may begin.
I just, my problem is I feel like I haven't been seeing my son a fair amount of time, and I've been missing out on time spent with my son. In the past, Ms. Herman had up and moved away, and we had agreed mutually that he would go to school in Siren. Prior to that, he was in Webster School, and things were not working out in Webster School. So I contacted her and said, next year, I think we should try Siren, as the school bus goes right by the house where I am residing at the moment. And then he presumed school at Siren. The first year was kind of rough. He had a hard time getting along with kids, and their teachers were getting a hold of me saying he was kind of tough to have in class. But the second year, he made a lot of progress. Not only did I hear from the principal, but several of his teachers that he has really come a long way, and he was doing very well the second year in Siren. Seeing that, when I had found out that Miss Herman had came up and took him out of Siren and moved schools to Osceola without my permission nor the court's permission, I was upset and not in agreement. And as of now, talking to my son, basically the things that were said that I've done and that were accused against me, he said that,
Can't tell me what
Objection.
he said.
okay,
She's objecting, but so I'm going to sustain that. That means for both of you, you can't tell the court what other people have said,
okay,
including your son, teachers, etc. The only information you can provide to the court as to what somebody else has said is with the other party.
when you
So,
have it,
with Ms. Herman. So you
Okay.
can say, Ms. Herman told me X, and you can say, Mr. Maslow told me Y. But other than that, and as to any other party, you can't tell me what they said. They have to be here to testify themselves.
okay.
Okay?
But yeah, I guess, he had been doing a lot better in school in Siren the second year. And I just, lately I felt like I haven't gotten a fair amount of time to spend with my son. I was only getting every other weekends, and then she asked me if I would take him for the summer instead of him going to summer school, if I would take him every Wednesday and every other Thursday and then every other weekend, which is kind of based off what our old court order was. And I just feel like that old court order is outdated, and I just,
For the record, we are going off of a temporary order. That means that today is where the court is going to make a final decision, which will be the final order. And then after this, then there's what's called a cooling off period. Nothing can be changed for 2 years under certain extreme circumstances. Okay?
okay.
All right. So you're going to have to give me a whole lot more information to go off of, and what you're seeking, why you're seeking, and why you think that whatever you're seeking is in the best interest of the child.
I'm seeking that he comes back to Siren School District. Not because it's my choice, but because it's what I've been told that he wanted. And I'm all for being fair with the other parent. I understand he needs mom time, he needs dad time. So, I'm just seeking that through the school year, he resides up here, and every other weekend he goes to his mom's. And then in the summertime, he resides at his mom's for the summer, and I see him every other weekend.
All right. I'm going to need a whole lot more information.
Judge, if you want, I can maybe start out with some questioning. If the parties are okay with that, just so I think it would be helpful if the court had some background info.
Exactly what I was thinking, because I don't know anything.
Okay.
Okay. And so, Mr. Maslow, are you okay with going out of order and essentially having Ms. Murtaugh ask you some questions? Then you can provide me with some more information on top of those questions. And then Ms. Herman will get to ask you questions.
That's fine. I'm fine to answer questions.
And Ms. Herman, the same to you. Are you okay with that kind of order?
Okay.
Okay. All right, Ms. Murtaugh, you may continue, or you may begin.
Judge, could I just ask that Mr. Maslow come up to the witness stand?
Yes,
so I can
it'll be
see?
a lot easier now if you can just come up here to the witness stand.
And do you mind if I just have a cough drop?
You may.
Mr. Maslow, so you and Miss Herman have one child in common,
One child together, yes.
and his name is Hunter.
Yep.
How old is he?
He is 10 years old.
And when did you and Miss Herman, I'm sorry, is your last name not Herman?
It's officially Jevichensky now, but the court wasn't updated, so.
Jevichensky.
Oh,
Jevichensky,
Jevichensky.
were you just
I'm
recently?
married.
When did you get married?
back in December.
In December?
Just got my name changed 2 months ago.
Can you please spell your last name?
Yes, DZIEWECZYNSKI.
That's a mouthful.
I was going
I
to
have a
say,
hard time
We'll
saying it.
I would go by Miss D.
are you okay if I refer to you as Athea?
Yeah, that's
Okay. So when did you and Athea break up? How old was Hunter?
This was quite a while ago. There was several times where we had split up and got back together and tried working it out. But the last recent breakup was, I want to say like 2-3 years ago.
And were you two living together at that time?
We had always lived together, always had split the payment on the bills and everything, and just lived together and worked together on things.
Okay, so 2 or 3 years ago, you broke up. Where were you living after the breakup?
After the breakup, I had told her I would get my stuff out of her house. where she lived in Danbury, or actually Voyager Village. And she said I didn't need to go, but I said, if we are breaking up, then I'm not gonna live here. And I contacted my parents and let them know that I was gonna need some help for a little while I save some money up and work. And I plan to buy a house. I'm recently looking at houses in the Siren area to purchase and buy my own house.
So are you living with your parents now?
As of currently, I am living with my parents, yes.
And so at the time when you and Athea split up, what were you doing for placement?
We were just going off that old court order, seeing that she had lived in Danbury and he was going to school currently in Webster. So every Wednesday I had him, and then every other Thursday and every other Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay,
And then Monday morning I would drop him off at school in Webster.
okay. And then at some point, did Athea move out of the area?
Yep, at some point she had, after we had broken up, she had contacted me and told me that she had an offer on her house and that her house was for sale. And that she was looking at accepting the offer and moving to La Crosse.
And do you remember when that was?
I do not remember exact date.
Okay, so when she moved to, did she move to La Crosse then?
Yep.
Okay. And when she moved there, what happened with Hunter?
When she moved there, it was under a mutual agreement between her and I that Hunter would stay with me, as that's kind of what I wanted, and he has a lot of family up here. So I kept him in Webster because I didn't want to change out the school district, especially through the middle of the year.
And so at that point in time, you and Athea had an agreement that Hunter would stay with you
Yep.
primarily during the school year?
Yep.
And when was Athea seeing Hunter?
She would have him every other weekend. I would drive down Friday after school with Hunter and I would meet her in Bloomer, which she had told me was the halfway point from La Crosse.
Okay. And how, at that, okay, so at that point, was he still in school at Danbury or in Webster, I mean?
Webster, yep.
And how long did he stay in school in Webster?
It was like the remaining of that year and then the following year. So he was in there kindergarten, first grade.
And then when he was in first grade, what happened? Did he switch schools?
He had finished out first grade, I believe, and he wasn't doing, that was the year that I had heard from the teacher that he wasn't doing very well, and him and a couple students were, like not getting along, playing well. And we tried one more year in Webster, and then he didn't do well, so after that year, I requested that I could try Siren.
So did he go to second grade in Webster or in Siren?
In Webster.
And did he complete second grade in Webster?
Yes.
So then in third grade, he went to Siren?
Third grade was in Siren, yep, and then half of fourth grade.
Okay, and during this whole time, okay, so you don't remember when Athea moved to La Crosse?
Not an exact date. No, I had it written down on papers at one of the court hearings, but I think it was the first one. And
So was she still living here when Hunter was in kindergarten?
yes, when he was in kindergarten, she was there.
And what about when he was in first grade?
And through first grade, yep. And I believe it was closer towards the end of first grade is when she had told me that she was gonna move down there.
Okay. And when Hunter was with you and in Siren, was he involved in any activities?
He was, he wanted to try basketball. He did it for a little while and then told me that it wasn't his thing. And I told him that he should finish it out because that's how I've always been taught. Like my parents have told me, if you're gonna be in a sport, you need to finish it. And he didn't like it. So then I told him, I said, well, and from now on out, I said, if you're gonna be in something, you gotta fully commit, you gotta go to your practices, you gotta go to everything. And
And at Siren, did he have friends?
yeah, he had a few friends. There's still kids we'll see from time to time. We'll go to town and get Subway or something for dinner on occasion. And one of his kids that was in school with him will be like, "Hey Hunter, what's up?" And so like, yeah, he had a few friends and kids that he knew and whatnot. His cousins also are in Siren, but they are homeschooled. So he plays with them more of like on a weekend basis.
And is he pretty close with those cousins?
Yeah.
And do you have other family in the area?
Yeah, I have a lot of family. I have several uncles. My sister lives right in town with her two boys. Um, I have quite a few family members that are from Siren.
Okay, where do your parents live?
They are 5 miles east of the stoplights in Siren.
Does Athea have any family here in the area?
As far as I know, the only person that she has in the area would be her mom that lives up in Danbury or Webster, whichever the address would be, out on County Road A. And then her mom's, I don't know what you would call it, boyfriend, or Athea used to call him her stepdad, but it was a guy that her and her mom had a relationship with or something, I think. He lives right in town in Siren also.
Okay, so at some point, did Hunter okay, so let me back up. So you and Athea are operating sort of on this verbal agreement where he's here during the school year and every other weekend with Athea, and then in the summer with Athea primarily and with you every other weekend?
Yep.
Okay. And when did that stop?
That stopped basically when he was in, this past year when he was in 4th grade, and then she came up and took him out of Siren School. And
And was that just this past November?
yeah,
And I don't want you to say what anyone has said.
okay.
Athea, did she tell you that she had some concerns about your parenting or some concerns about Hunter?
Yeah, she.
Okay,
short-
it's just a yes or no
Okay,
question.
yeah.
And then when she told you that, did she return Hunter for school after her placement weekend?
No, he did not come back then.
And that was in November, you said?
Yeah. It was like halfway through the school year when he had been taken out.
And when was he returned to you?
I don't remember an exact date, but she had gotten a hold of me and I was only seeing him every other weekend. And then asked if I would watch him on Wednesdays and every other Thursday, like our old order had previously said, for the summer. And I agreed to that because at that point, only seeing him every other weekend, I felt like I had missed a lot of time with my son. So I was doing anything I could to have him.
So after after he didn't come back in November, when was the next time you saw him? Was it after Christmas, before Christmas?
It was right around Christmas time. She let him come up because we had a big Christmas party at my sister's house. And he spent Christmas Eve or Christmas with me. We've always done every other holiday, so.
Did Athea give you a reason? This is a yes or no question. Did she give you a reason that she was not sending him back?
Yes.
At that point, how was Hunter doing in school in Siren?
At the point up until he had been taken out, he was doing well in his last year that he was in there.
Did he miss any school?
Nope.
Was he in flag football?
He was not, but he has talked about football lately and that he wants to play at Siren, but
And were you in communication with the teachers when Hunter was going to school in Siren?
yep, they had my phone number and there was a couple times where they weren't able to get a hold of me because in my job, I can't have my cell phone on me, so it's in my locker. But whenever I had had a call, I had always returned it immediately when I got on break.
Okay. Did he get in any trouble in Siren?
Nothing majorly, no.
And so you're currently living with your parents, you said?
At the moment, yep.
Okay. Where do you work?
I work at the St. Croix Casino Danbury.
And what are your hours?
My hours right now are 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. Wednesday through Sunday. And in the fall, that will change. They go from 10 to 4 in the fall.
So do they do that every year, switch your hours?
Yeah, just kind of on a busyness basis because there's more Minnesotans coming in the summer and less travel in the winter and whatnot. So they cut hours in the winter and whatnot, but
So that's your experience. How long have you worked at the casino?
3 years.
And is that kind of what they do every year?
Yeah.
How long does it take you to get from the casino to your parents or where you live?
Roughly 20 to 30 minutes. I'd probably say 30 minutes on the safe side.
So during the school year, you're home by about 4:30.
Yeah, because I get off at 4, so I'm home about 4:30.
What time does Hunter get home from school?
He arrives off the bus around 4:20 to 4:25.
And is someone home when he gets home?
Yes, my dad is there. He's retired. He worked at North States Industries for 35 years and retired 2 years ago.
And is that what you were doing essentially while he was in school in
Yeah.
Siren before?
Yeah, my dad was there to get him when he came off the bus and whatnot, yep. And then I would be home within a few minutes.
Okay. And what is your relationship like with Hunter?
We have a pretty close, pretty tight bond. We do a lot of snowmobiling in the winter time. I love snowmobiles and he knows that. I'm a big collector of them. I got like 50 of them. We also do a lot of ice fishing in the winter. In the summertime, when he gets home from school, we go on bike rides and he likes to spend time at the skate park, learning to ride scooter and skateboard.
What is Hunter's relationship like with your parents?
He has a pretty good relationship with my parents. Every now and then, he gets kind of yelled at by my parents, but that's because he runs around the house and my dad doesn't put up with that. My dad was raised on a very strict basis, so.
Okay. Does Hunter seem to enjoy his time with his grandparents?
Yeah, he seems to enjoy it. He talks about going over to their friend's house and playing with their friend's dog and stuff and this and that, and seems to enjoy his time when he's here.
Do either of your parents have any criminal history?
None at all that I know of.
Do either of your parents have any issues with any substance abuse?
Nope.
How long have they been married?
Over 30 years.
And you said Hunter does have friends in the area?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have any criminal history?
I do. Back when I was out of high school, I had gotten into some trouble with my cousin, and he had ended up breaking into some cabins. They were originally supposed to be felony charges, but I hired a lawyer because I wasn't with him for all the places that he was at. So I felt like I shouldn't be charged for all the felonies and whatnot. Him and his girlfriend had broken into a couple cabins and stole guns and whatnot. And they were trying to give me felonies, so
And how old were you?
I was right out of high school, so I'm guessing like 18.
So was that in about 2011?
Yeah, probably somewhere in there.
And it looks like you pled to a criminal damage to property, a misdemeanor, and a theft of movable property as a misdemeanor. And another theft of movable property as a misdemeanor, and those were all party to a crime, is that right?
Yeah,
Judge, I would just ask that you take judicial notice of 11 CF 92.
Court will take judicial notice of 11 CF 92.
And so how old were you then?
at the time that that stuff had happened, I was around the age of 18.
Okay. And no trouble since then?
No, I haven't been in, I mean, I've gotten some traffic stops and whatnot, but
But no criminal charges?
no breaking into nothing. I'm a good boy now. I've learned my lesson.
And do you have any issues with any substances?
No, in the past, I used to smoke a little. Back when I was with Miss Herman, I had done it quite often back in the day, but I don't really do it now at all anymore. I know the last court hearing, I did have a little bit on my system, but I explained to, Dave Hatch, I believe his name was, that I was at the bar one night and I had ran into a few people that I didn't know, and I was pretty sure that I may have smoked that night. So I just wanted to be up and honest with them, but I don't have any issues with it anymore, no.
I just have one question. Did you say you ran into people you didn't know?
No, I ran into old friends that I knew.
Okay.
I'm glad you clarified that because I also was like,
Like, oh, didn't know. So
With-
let's
with
just spend some
randoms.
time.
Yeah.
Okay, all
No.
right, good. Thank you for clarifying.
No,
do you have any concerns about Athea and any substance use or criminal history?
no real issues as far as any of that with her.
And what about her husband, Mike? Do you know him?
I do know him. I don't know him real well. From past experiences, I do not appreciate the way that my parents and other elders were talked to by him, especially for having a military backing. I guess there is one issue of my son being there, and, I'm not sure what happens when people are in the service and whatnot, but
So I just want to clarify, it sounds like from your perspective, he was maybe disrespectful to your parents or something at one point.
yes, very much so.
Any other concerns about Mike?
Not really anything else, just that he was disrespectful to my parents and other people that are elder than him.
And are you and Athea able to communicate?
Yeah, I
About
don't
Hunter.
have a problem talking to her. I call her whenever there's an issue or if there's anything going on or whatever.
Now, back in November, when Hunter was not returned to the Siren School, was he enrolled in another school?
From what I had heard, yes, that she had taken him out of Siren without my permission or the court's permission and enrolled him into Osceola School is what I had heard.
In Osceola School?
Yep,
Hadn't she moved to La Crosse?
she did. And previous to that, I had found out that she had moved back up into the area and they were staying with Michael's parents, which had lived in the Osceola area, I guess. And hence that be the reason, I'm guessing.
So when she didn't return Hunter, was she living in La Crosse?
At that time, I do not believe they were living in La Crosse. I believe they were living at his parents' house in
In
Osceola.
Osceola,
Yeah.
okay. So was Hunter enrolled in Osceola?
Yes, as far as I believe.
And that was just last November?
Yeah,
And then was he enrolled in another school after Osceola?
yep. Less than a month from then, he was enrolled in Clear Lake. As I had gotten info from her that they had moved out of Michael's parents and were renting their own place in Clear Lake.
And is there, do you know if there's a plan? Is the plan to keep, if, let me just back up. Has Athea told you that she has a plan, whether that's to keep Hunter at Clear Lake or move him to a different school?
She has not told me if there's a plan to keep him there or if she plans on moving somewhere else.
So at some point, you said that in December you started seeing Hunter again?
Yeah, I had seen him every other weekend, seeing
Okay.
as she was trying to give him to me on Wednesdays and every other Thursdays. And I explained to her that me getting out of work and by the time I would get down there and get him and drive an hour back, like it wouldn't make the sense to drive down there and drive back. And then I would literally have to shower him and get him fed dinner and everything and put him to bed. And then wake up super early in the morning to make sure that we are up and in time to get him all the way down to Clear Lake in time for school. So I had told her that it didn't make sense to take him on Wednesdays and Thursdays, as much as I would have loved to have had him. It just didn't cohere with our schedule and our differences and how far we were apart.
So then this past summer, what has your placement been?
This past summer was that if I was gonna take him through the summer, I would have him every other weekend and every Wednesday and every other Thursday.
For the summer?
Yep.
Say that, so every other weekend,
Every other weekend, every Wednesday, and then every other Thursday.
and is that what you've been doing?
Up to this point, yes.
Okay, and you're asking the court you're asking the court to grant you primary placement during the school year?
Yes,
And you want Hunter to go to Siren?
I want him to go to Siren as he's told me that's what he wants.
Objection.
All
Oh,
right,
yeah.
I'm going to sustain that. You can't tell me what
What
Hunter
he wants, yeah.
you can say what you may have witnessed to lead you to believe certain things, but not what, again, what he has said.
Okay. From what I have witnessed, I had believed that I had heard that he,
We can't say you heard.
That was a good try. Though. So let's just move on from there. But you are planning if the court grants
if
you.
the court grants me permission, yes, for him to go to school in Siren.
Okay. And again, he's been there, he's attended there in the past and has
Yes.
friends there.
Yep.
Okay. And what is the alternate placement that you're asking the court to award Athea if you are awarded primary placement during the school year? When would she see Hunter during the school year?
If I were awarded placement for him through the school year, I would ask that he would see his mother every other weekend for the school year. And if there were any days off in school, that she could have him as a little extra time to see him. And then in the summer, I would get him every other weekend and she would have him all week, every week through June, July, and August.
So during the summer, you would have just every other weekend?
Yep.
If you have days off of work in the summer, are you asking that you would have those days as well?
If I had days off, yeah.
I'm thinking, and I don't know, so do you have like 4th of July or,
Unfortunately, my job, we have to work on all holidays.
so you don't have any holiday days
I don't
off?
really have any holiday days off, but there are times like we'll go race watercross and race snowmobiles on the water. And I know that's something that he dearly enjoys, watching me race. So there is a time like that that I may ask, but
I have a question. If you work more in the summer and you work Wednesday through Sunday every week in the summer, how would you suppose you would see Hunter every other weekend?
well, I would see him after work in the summer when I have him.
So do you have, you work, thank you for pointing that out, Judge. You work Wednesday through Sunday in the summer?
Wednesday through the
Or
Sunday, yeah.
So actually, your weekend is Monday, Tuesday?
Monday, Tuesday are my actual days off, yes.
So would you rather have Monday, Tuesday placement during the summer?
I guess, yeah, that would probably make more sense to have them in the sun. Yeah, that way I could take fuller advantage of my time with them in the summertime, but I understand if that doesn't work with her schedule or something, whatever needed to be worked out.
Sure,
But
so,
if possible, yeah, that would be the best. Have Monday and Tuesday.
so Sundays in the summer, you work until what time?
In the summertime, I work until Sunday at 6 PM.
So would
And-
you want to exchange Sunday evening and then have Monday, Tuesday and exchange Tuesday evening?
Yeah, that would probably be ideal for me.
I don't, oh, yes, I do. There is a holiday schedule floating around that you and that you and Athea have been operating under, is that right?
Yeah, we have been doing every other holiday.
So there's one in there's a holiday schedule in the temporary order. Is that what you've been following?
Yeah, I believe so. Every other holiday.
Okay. And you don't have any problem with that holiday schedule as it is?
No, I'm fine with doing like every other holiday if she wants them for Christmas and then I have them for like New Year's or whatever, like that's fine. Doing every other holiday, that's fine.
And in your temporary order, there is a provision of a right of first refusal, basically. So if either of you are going to be away from Hunter for more than 8 hours, you'll offer placement to the other parent. Have you two been doing that?
As to I do not think so, no.
Do you see a need for that?
I don't really see a need for it, no.
I don't have any other questions right now, Judge.
All right, Mr. Maslow, now, is there anything you would like to add or testify to in addition to the questions that Ms. Murtaugh has asked you?
Can you elaborate a little bit?
Do you
for
have
me?
anything else you want me to know?
Just basically that I've been accused of a few things that aren't true and I feel like that was really wrong that I've been accused of those things.
Um, I missed what you first said. I might object, I'm sorry, although I don't know that it matters because the cat's out of the bag.
Well, I believe at the last hearing, if I'm recalling correctly, there were allegations made to the Department of Health and Human Services about some type of, again, allegations of contact.
Okay, so if the court's already aware of that, then I do have additional questions.
Yeah, that's just what I recall coming out briefly in the last hearing. And I think that's correct.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
So
I'm aware of it. I don't need to have any elaboration unless the parties wish to go in it or there's evidence or not.
Yeah, I just a couple of general questions about it.
Okay.
Has there been an open CHIPS case? Do you know what a CHIPS case is?
I do not.
A child protection case. So have you had to go to court about Hunter at all?
I have not had any court cases over it, but I did have Penny from CPS up here.
Okay.
Show up at my house and did a walkthrough my house recently. And she said that there's,
Objection here.
Yeah, you can't
Oh,
tell me
yeah.
what she said.
can't
You
say
can
what
just
she said, yeah.
tell me what your
She,
perspective
she had
is.
came out and visited our house from Child Protection Services.
And did you have any other contact with her after that?
Nope.
Have you spoken with any law enforcement officers about these allegations?
As to what I was accused to, is what you're saying? I
It's
ha-
just yes or no.
Yeah,
Okay. Have you been charged criminally?
I have not been charged.
And when was the last time you talked to any law enforcement about this?
It's been a while since I've had to talk to any law enforcement. The last time would probably be when she took Hunter out of school.
So
And
November?
Yeah, so I contacted them, letting them know that it was my day to receive them back and that she wasn't there to meet me.
Okay, so did anyone contact you about quote allegations against Hunter?
No,
No law enforcement talked to you.
no law enforcement. Nope. I just had the one visit from Penny from CPS.
I don't have any other questions.
All right, thank you. On top of those additional questions from Ms. Murtaugh, is there anything else you would like me to know about anything regarding your case and where you are?
No.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna call you Athea as well. Can't say your new last name. I'm sorry. If you would like me to call you Miss Herman, I will do that.
It's fine.
Okay,
Won't offend me.
Athea, do you have any questions for Mr. Maslow?
I do not believe so. We met briefly before we stepped in here and I asked him some questions to see where he stands and why he wanted him to go to school in Siren with his work schedule and
So-
stuff.
So you have those and you have those responses, but you have to remember, I
Okay.
don't.
So I guess before I asked you in the room, why you wanted him to go to Siren, and my big concern was your work schedule with you getting off at 6 and then being home at 6:30. Like who would be there to take care of him and make him dinner?
Right.
Objection. So form of the question,
There's a lot in there. It's like a jumbled question with some statements and some testimony from you on behalf of all of this. So I'm sustaining that and I'm just going to give you a little bit of direction, okay? You want to make this simple. You want to have the questions be short and sweet to get short and sweet answers. You can't provide within that question something that you would be testifying to or something that comes from your belief or your standpoint. It would simply be, if you get off of work at 6 o'clock and you're home at 6:30, from the time Hunter is home from school until you return, who would take care of him? Okay, something like that. Or who would take care of Hunter after school if you don't get home from work until late? Something like that, okay? And then you can build upon that with additional questions and then another question after that, okay?
So that is my question. If you're home at 6:30 or 6 after work, what would the plan be with Hunter?
Well, that would only be in the summertime, but in the school year, I would be home at 4:30, so he would be home with my dad and vice versa. If I did have him in the summertime and I didn't get home until 6, he would be home with my dad, like he is today.
Now, I do have another question. Hopefully I say this right. What about Yes, what about when Hunter is sick and needs to stay home or things like that arise? Are you gonna be able to take off work or do you have a plan in place?
I can take off work if need to be, otherwise my dad is home and around.
Another question I have, try not to make this a statement. As far as student parent teacher conferences moving forward, would you be involved with that?
Yeah, I can go to every one if it's gonna be me and you, but I just prefer that it's me and you and not Michael. I understand Michael's in his life and he is his stepdad, but I believe we are the parents. We are the sole parents. I will attend conferences with you and I'm more than willing to do that.
And you understand, Mr. Maslow, that if you're asking that from Athea and her husband or significant other, I know he's your husband, but and or a significant other, you would understand that that would be applicable to you
Same
as
for me,
well.
yeah, I would not, if I were to get a girlfriend, I would not have her attend conferences as it's me and Miss Herman's.
Even if it's your wife.
Right, correct.
Next question.
Yes. One other question I had is, have you had him covered on health insurance since I reached out to you?
I told you that I could cover him on my health insurance and you guys had said that he was covered under Michael's.
I meant previously before that.
Previously, before that, we made an agreement that half would be with you and then half would be with me. That's why when you and Michael got together, I explained that I could put him on my health insurance. And you guys continuously told me, no, never mind, he'll be covered under Michael's.
Okay. Racking my brain here. And okay, I do have a question. As far as behavioral issues like in the past, how can we move forward from that? Do we have a plan in place? Do you have a plan in place?
First,
Sure.
I'm going to stop you because I don't understand what you mean by behavioral issues. So I don't know, and I don't want you to provide me any testimony.
Okay.
But if there's something in particular, and I'm just saying right here, giving you an example, when Hunter's been known to act out in class, how are you going to respond to that? Or what's your plan in place? I don't know what the behavioral issues are, but you can state what you believe they are or what you've worked with Mr. Maslow. Because otherwise, I don't know if we're talking about somebody, a kid that just ticks something or a kid that throws things at people
Okay.
or bites kids.
So my question is, how are you going to move forward with dealing with his tantrums and himself and threatening to
Objection.
others?
What is the basis for the objection?
It assumes facts, not in evidence. I mean, those were some very specific behaviors. I don't know if he's engaged in those. If it's just a hypothetical, I suppose that's one thing.
Yes, okay. So if what you're, and I'm sustaining that, so you can understand, and again, I can't give you too much guidance, but I can give you some guidance and some leeway. It means that if there have been particular issues that you're aware of and that Mr. Maslow is, like in October of 2022, if you recall, or what do you recall happening with Hunter and the child Kenny? Or at school in the fall, or something of that nature, to have Mr. Maslow, so we can understand what it is that you and Mr. Maslow believe has occurred or existed. So we get a foundation of what it is that the issue is, and then then you can ask him his plan, okay? I know it's hard, I know it's difficult,
Trying to word this correctly.
and
is
he's
hard.
gonna have the same issues too. And that's why I'm trying to give you as much guidance as I can without overstepping.
Okay, so I can't put a testimony into it. throughout third grade, the issues arose with that, and you used to call me to mediate between you two.
Objection.
Okay. I'm done with asking questions. I don't know how to do it.
Okay. From what I'm hearing, I'm just going to simply ask you if there are issues involving any behavior with Hunter, any negative behavior, do you have any plan in place? I think that's essentially what she's trying to ask.
I do have plan in place. I told him prior to this court date that if he wants to be back and going to school in Siren, he would need to be on best behavior and get along with everybody and listen in school. If he does not listen, there will be consequences, toys, etc. Things will be taken away along as privileges.
So it's been something you have been thinking
I have
about.
talked to Hunter about it, yes, or
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Any other questions?
No, I'm not gonna try.
Ms. Murtaugh, any additional questions?
No, not right now.
All right, you can step down, Mr. Maslow. All right, so now I'm going to turn to you, Ms. Athea, and you're going to give me your testimony, the things that you want me to know, and the things that you are seeking from the court. And then you will be questioned, and then you can call your witnesses, okay?
Okay. Do I start now?
Yes, but again, please take the microphone. Please speak as loud as you can.
Could I ask that she come to the witness chair?
Yes,
so I
and
can see
please
her?
come to the witness stand as well. That would make it much easier. May begin.
Feels weird being here. So it started out, you want just like a story like Brad did, correct?
All that you want me to know, and yes, it can be like a narrative, a story.
Okay, so me and Brad had a temporary order enforced in 2015. We dated until Hunter was approximately 2. We lived together at the Peterson house. We did remain living together during that period, even though we weren't together, because I bought a house. So he stayed there with me in agreement on a lease. We were not dating. It was in 2020 when I purchased my house in Danbury, and he stayed at that Peterson house. And we were not together since Hunter was like 2. So we followed that temporary order where he had him every Wednesday, every other Thursday, every other weekend. We were on and off a couple times. He did reside in my house in Danbury for, I think, maybe a month or 2. So it wasn't very long. And as far as Hunter's schooling going, he went to Webster until 2nd grade. And that is when I sold my house as I was getting married and having another baby on the way. My husband now had a house in La Crosse. I reached out to Brad, I believe it was in May, trying to come to a new agreement because court scares me. I don't do well. I don't know why. And I tried for months and months to share my concerns, try to get placement in order. I listened to him. He had concerns about Hunter switching schools, was why he didn't want him to go with me to La Crosse. And I took that into consideration, and also the fact that I did have Michael in my life now and was going to have another baby. And I thought that might be quite a bit for a 8-year-old, 9-year-old at the time to go through. So he did go to Webster School to finish the year. He did have a lot of attitude issues, and it progressively got worse once I moved, and I was constant communication with Bradley, trying to resolve conflicts between them and work together.
I'm just going to ask you to try and slow down a little bit.
Okay.
I know that you might be anxious, that it's hard to be put on the spot, but if you could just slow down just a little bit.
Yes. So yes, while he was finishing school in Webster, that last year there was issues, and then it turned into his open enrollment was taken away, and then he had no choice but to switch schools. So me and Brad were discussing back and forth, and I said, well, you know what, his grades are not the same, they're going down, his attitude was getting worse, and I had my concerns. And he wanted to switch his school to Siren, and my point was, well, if we're switching schools anyways, why can't he come to La Crosse? But he said it was the school he was having an issue with. So I went to another agreement with him and I said, okay, we can try Siren School unless something happens. If the grades don't improve or stay the same, if his attitude gets worse or something else happens. And then so fast forward to back in November, my son, we moved back in the area in September. We've been trying to sell the house in La Crosse. It's been a mess. I'm sorry, Court. So we moved back in November and I was taking Hunter every other weekend. Hunter had been asking to come live with us and I told him that we can't just switch his schools. We can't do that. We need to go to court and all this. And then in November, he came to me and my husband and he said apparently all these allegations and it really concerned me.
Well, you can't, again, reminding you, you can't tell me what somebody else had said, including
Okay.
Hunter.
Then there was a CPS case, or we called the police and made a police report. The police then made a CPS case. And due to this, Hunter refused to go back. So I enrolled.
Objection.
Oh,
Sustained. You can continue, but not down the path you were going.
okay, so I needed to ensure that he continued school. So I enrolled him into Osceola and waited to hear about everything. And I've been in communication with Bradley about it all and why I did and his parents and just trying to be a good mom and make sure he's taken care of. And then we were staying at Michael's parents' house because we were waiting for the La Crosse house to sell. Due to taking Hunter in, not planned, we looked for an apartment to rent. And that is why we had to switch schools from Osceola to Clear Lake to find something in such short notice that we could afford while still having to pay for the house in La Crosse. We were quite limited. I did call Bradley and try to converse about that with him. And he said, I don't care, do what you want, and hung up. So that is why he's enrolled in Clear Lake now. That's why I took the steps that I did. And I've been, when we went to court, forgetting the date now, but that Judge Krupa, I think his name is the one that instilled the every other weekend. So that is why Brad had him every other weekend. And then since we went to our first trial with you, you put us on the 2015 order, and that is why we've been following that schedule.
I'm sorry.
We've been following the schedule, that Wednesday, every other Thursday, every other weekend.
All right. Do you want to ask her questions as you did with Mr. Maslow?
I sure can. Yeah,
It might help get things moving a little faster.
sure. So, so did you and Mike date in high school?
Right after high school, correct?
Okay. And what was your relationship like?
Like any relationship, it was good.
And
Young adults. not
why did
that-
you guys break up?
He joined the military and was going overseas.
Okay. Has there ever been any like physical abuse
No,
by Mike? Okay. Does Mike, from your perspective, does Mike have any issues with anger?
no,
Does he have a criminal history?
not that I'm aware of.
What's his full name?
Michael John Jevichensky.
And would you spell it again?
Yes. So Michael is Michael and then John, John, John. And then Jevichensky is Dziewecz.
Okay, you gotta
Okay,
slow
sorry.
it.
So-
I mean, it's like alphabet soup to me, and I apologize.
Dziewecz.
Thank you. And what's his date of birth?
It's always a tricky one. I'm terrible with dates. But it is, I believe, May 14th, 1993.
Okay.
Dates, names aren't my thing.
And where is Mike from?
Osceola,
And that's where he graduated from high school and stuff?
same year as me, correct?
And that's where you went to high school?
Correct.
Okay. So you mentioned that you found an apartment because you were unexpectedly, I think you said, taking in Hunter.
Correct.
So why couldn't you stay with Mike's parents with Hunter?
It wasn't ideal with Hunter and all the behavioral things he was going through. We had weeks where we spent talking to him, trying to manage all of his emotions and everything that came out of that. And we wanted room to parent him without other people's parenting over, as it just creates more confusion and conflict for the child.
So after you contacted the police, and this is back in November, right?
Yeah, but it was like a week before Thanksgiving.
Okay. After you contacted the police, did anyone interview Hunter?
Yes, in December.
Do you know who interviewed him? And if you don't know
recall
this,
their names.
sorry, if you don't know the specific person, do you know if it was someone from the sheriff's office, someone from child protection?
There was one person there, I believe, from Child Protection, and she was a female, and then there was one male officer there.
And did you observe the interview?
No, they did a closed interview.
So you don't know what Hunter said in there?
No idea.
Do you, and you never watched the video?
I didn't know that was an option. No.
Okay. I guess maybe I made that assumption. Was it recorded? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Okay, I apologize. Did you ever review any of the police reports?
No, I just filed the police report where my husband did over our concerns, and I didn't know what further to do. I was not prepared for the situations or the things he said or his feelings or attitudes or anything. This definitely was not planned.
And
I'm just going to remind you again, just slow down a little bit.
Sorry.
Thank you.
so Hunter was interviewed one time?
Correct.
Okay. And did you have any further interaction with law enforcement or child protection after that interview?
I tried to call to get an update, and they said they couldn't disclose that information to me.
So no, has anyone from child protection been in touch with you at all since that interview?
No.
Okay. Anyone from law enforcement been in touch with you at all since that interview?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
That's a no.
Yeah.
How long after, so in November, you said maybe like a week before Thanksgiving is
Correct.
when you decided you were going to keep Hunter?
Yes,
Is that
and he
right?
refused to go back and told
Okay,
us
I'm gonna
this.
object to that again.
Okay.
That's sustained and it's stricken.
And when did Hunter, after you didn't send him back, when did Hunter next see Brad?
It was just after his birthday and before Christmas.
So end of November.
I think it was one weekend that was missed.
Only one weekend? So let me ask you why, okay. So Hunter confides in someone, you're concerned, you call the police, you change schools, And within a couple of weeks, Hunter's back at Brad's, right?
Yes.
Okay. Why was it safe a couple of weeks later?
I didn't want to withhold him at all. We even bought a cell phone so he could openly communicate.
So, but you said that you kept Hunter because you were concerned about what he had said.
Well, I keep getting, I don't know what that is called,
Well,
but
you can just say yes or no.
So you kept Hunter in November because you had safety concerns about him, right?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happened in just a couple of weeks with no follow-up from law enforcement and no follow-up from child protection that you felt that it was safe for him to go back to Brad's?
It was because when I was talking to the CPS worker, and she said there was no direct physical contact, that they weren't going to move forward.
So I'm
with
gonna
it. So
object to the hearsay. You didn't enter into a safety plan with child protection,
I haven't heard from them.
no voluntary services.
I haven't heard from anybody.
Okay. So do you still have concerns?
Yes, I do a little, but I have faith that everybody can change, and I don't want anything to be held against Brad. I really truly don't. I want them to have a good relationship.
Okay, so I'm making an assumption that whatever Hunter told you, you believed, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you said just a minute ago, everyone can change. So assuming that you believed Hunter and assuming that he went back to a couple of weeks after he made this revelation to you, what did Brad do to alleviate your concerns? What did he do to affect change to make his
He
house?
was actually trying to reach out and communicate with me, which he wasn't previously.
Okay,
And I went to the authorities. I didn't know what to do.
okay. Did you file a motion?
No.
Why not?
Brad said he was going to. So I didn't,
You were the one withholding Hunter, right?
wasn't purposely, but yes, I suppose.
It wasn't on purpose?
I was just trying to protect him and do what I'm supposed to do.
Okay, and so my question is, you said, I have faith that everyone can change.
Yes.
So my question to you is, what did Brad do from the time that Hunter made these statements to you until you sent Hunter back that would have affected change such that you were confident that Hunter was safe?
Well, I can't do the things he said, but, or I can say what he said, correct?
You can tell me what Brad had said to you.
Brad had said that he no longer was doing drugs, that he's safe there.
What does drugs have to do with contact?
That was the other half of it.
Now, I believe then Ms. Murtaugh's question is not really directed towards the use, but perhaps the contact statements made by Hunter. Again, I don't know the depth of them. I don't know if they're shallow. I don't know if they're deep. I know nothing about those allegations. And I don't want you to tell me about those allegations and what was said, just what
Oh,
Mr.
I
Maslow
guess.
told you to alleviate your concerns and to believe that there has been change.
They stated that Hunter had his own separate bedroom, that he would was no longer sleeping with Brad as well.
Okay. And so that in itself remedied any concerns that you had?
And we purchased a cell phone for him in case anything did arise, that we could be there for him.
Okay. Anything else?
I believe that's all.
What's that?
I said, I believe that's all.
And you know that you and Mr. Maslow have, the order is that you have joint legal custody.
Yes, and we were not following that.
Do you understand what joint legal custody is? The right to make decisions as it relates to the child?
Okay, yes.
So he wasn't following that? You weren't following that?
I wasn't necessarily in agreement about the siren school change. And I brought up my concern several times with how everything was going and.
I
but
need you to
it-
speak up and bring the microphone right to your face. Okay. Ms. Murtaugh, they shared joint legal custody.
So you said that you guys weren't following that though?
No,
Okay, and so your example is that you didn't want Hunter to go to siren school after Webster.
I wanted him to move to lacrosse and I made that clear and enroll in lacrosse if he was switching schools anyways.
Okay, and so when that didn't happen and he started going to siren, why didn't you file a motion?
Like I said, not a lawyer. I don't know how to go about these things.
Okay, so when did he switch schools to siren?
It was after second grade and 2/3.
So from second grade until midway through fourth grade, he was in siren school?
For third grade and part of fourth.
Okay. And at no time were you in agreement with him going to siren?
I shared my concerns several times about him attending there and how that is
So-
not what I wanted, but I was trying to work with him.
Okay, so you did agree?
Unless something arose or his attitude and issues came about, yes. I tried to
So
make an
you-
agreement.
So you would agree if things were going fine, but then wouldn't agree if things were not going fine?
Well, it was a concern of Hunter's past issues with his attitudes and grades and stuff, and it would come about on when he would come to my house on the weekends on Friday, his backpack wasn't looked through. There, all his slips were still in there. The teachers would reach out, and all these things arose.
Okay. So in November,
Yeah.
then when you enrolled him in Osceola School District, did you talk to Brad about it?
I did not. I did call his mother and his sister that night and tried to speak to them to learn more about what was going on, to not make assumptions, and then filed the police report.
But you
And
didn't talk to Brad about it.
I think it was a day or two. Maybe a day.
And at that point, did you think it was appropriate to make that decision without discussing it with Brad?
I just wanted to protect Hunter is all I was trying to do.
Okay, so I want to know exactly when Hunter went back to Brad's for the first time.
I believe it was the weekend between his birthday and Christmas,
When is his birthday?
December 16th.
And what?
While you're looking for whatever you're looking for, do you remember the date in November that you kept Hunter?
It was the week before Thanksgiving.
Had he just finished his week of school before Thanksgiving break?
It was the weekend before the Thanksgiving break. It wasn't Thanksgiving break yet.
Okay, thank you.
It wasn't November 29th.
I don't recall the dates off my head, but it was the weekend before Thanksgiving break.
Okay, and so the week before Thanksgiving break, you said?
Yes,
Okay. One moment.
approximately. Not
Are we
really.
talking 2025?
2024.
I mean, 2024?
Okay, so
Yes.
November 28th, one moment. So Thanksgiving was on November 28th. So we're going to say that it was the week before that, okay? And then when did he go back? The week between his birthday, December 16th, and Christmas?
Well, we had flopped the schedule where it was every other weekend, and there was Thanksgiving, which was my holiday.
I want to know when he went back. The week between December 16th, his birthday, and Christmas, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. I want to know, Athea, and I've asked you this a couple of times. I want to know what happened that you thought that he was safe when you had to change his school and keep him away from his dad at the drop of a hat. What changed in 4 weeks?
Because I had instilled and did everything I did or tried to make sure he is safe and give him a cell phone. And we did the police and the CPS. And if anything was truly going on, they would raise their concerns and decide from there what was appropriate.
Okay, so are you satisfied that nothing harmful was going on then?
I'm very thankful that nothing has come from it. Yes.
I'm sorry,
I said very thankful
okay.
that nothing has come from it.
Okay. So my question was, are you satisfied that Hunter is not in harm's way when he's with Brad?
Yes. I want them to have a good relationship.
So do you believe Hunter is safe in all respects with Mr. Maslow?
As of lately, yes.
I don't have any other questions. Yeah, no, I don't.
All right, okay, thank you. Mr. Maslow, do you have any questions for Athea?
I do not.
You have no questions? All righty, okay, Miss Athea, is there anything else you would like me to know from your perspective as it relates to anything that you've talked about or said while on the stand, or anything that hasn't been asked?
But I don't know how to go about wording this, but I do want to add that from earlier, Hunter does the same thing to me and my husband. We will ask how his dad's weekend was, and he won't say anything. So I don't know what's going on with him on that aspect. I do want to say he is doing much better overall. He is no longer punching himself or screaming and hollering and throwing toddler tantrums. He is learning how to hold his mannerisms and speak to others. And he is doing just as good in school, if not a little bit better. I have no calls from either school district, Osceola or Clear Lake now, about concerns of behavior at all.
Okay. Ms. Murtaugh, does that spur any additional questions?
No.
All right, then you can step down. Thank you. And then please go get your witness. And Madam Court Reporter, we do not need him to respell his name, correct? Thank you. All right, please come forward, raise your right hand. You're going to be sworn in and come have a seat over at the witness stand.
Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to provide in this matter should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
All right, come have a seat. We have already heard how to spell your last name, which is a mouthful. But so just please, for the record, state your name.
My name is Michael Jevichensky. I have known Athea for about 20 years. Me and her were high school and middle school sweethearts / crushes. And I have known Hunter since he was about 5 years old. So I've known him for about 5 years. And going back to it from lacrosse up to the time now, I've witnessed Hunter throw quite a few tantrums. And there was, I think, 2 occurrences where he started hitting himself at one point.
You answered the foundational issue questions. Thank you. All right, next question. But I'm just going to say, when you speak, if you could just speak a little bit slower,
Yes,
that'd be great.
sorry.
You enunciate and you project very well.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Yes, in November, Hunter was having what I would call a meltdown slash tantrum. It took quite a while to figure out what was going on, and then he opened up and talked to me first, and then to you, Athea, my wife, and he told me of issues that he was having at his dad's house. He was saying that his dad.
Objection.
Yes, it's sustained. You can't
Oh.
say what Hunter has told you.
Okay.
Again, only things that you've observed and witnessed.
Yes,
Okay.
so he was having a meltdown and he confided in us and talked to us. And for his safety and concern, we felt it was best to hold him. And because he said he didn't want to go back. And my wife, Athea, was actually concerned over Christmas time when he did go back because she didn't want to go into jail. She didn't want to break any of the laws and this and that, where I was trying to tell her it's for his safety, etc. So we got him a phone. So he could contact us if he felt like there was something that was going on that he needed us to pick him up or anything like that. And we had conversations on the phone. I know Athea and Hunter talked to Brad on the phone for quite a while. It was like 20, 30 minutes on the phone. And I do recall him saying, Brad saying, do what you want. If he wants to go to Osceola, switch him, do whatever. And then he was more like, I'll see you in court. No, this was not planned at all. We were hoping in the future, once we got our house, which we are now building a house, to see if he wanted to switch schools to Osceola at the time, but it was nowhere in the plans at all to have him because of everything we were going on in our lives. It was far from anything that was ever going to be planned. Like, not once was it thought of. It was a lot to take on, but we worked with it, especially with the change of schedules, and we drove, lots of change of schedules, but we made it work because it was all what at the time, what things he told us and what he told us he wanted and what he said he felt safe with at that time.
Objection. Hearsay. He's not saying exactly, but he's saying.
All right, so minus the what he said as he relates to being safe, etc. That is sustained and that is stricken. Next question.
To be closer to family and everything, and for sustainability, I work for myself. I do custom engine swaps. I have my own business with a buddy, and we're 5 minutes from the shop. And the school district's a good one, a small one, and we talked to the teachers and all that, and we felt like it was in everyone's best interest to do so. And we wanted to be close to everyone, so we weren't so far away down in La Crosse having to travel. And we knew La Crosse was a big school and stuff like that, where we want Hunter to kind of have the best education and family and surrounding for him with all the support he needs.
Just quick question. Where are you building the house?
On my parents' land, we have 80 acres out in the middle of Star Prairie in Osceola, Wisconsin. It's about 45 minutes from here.
About an hour.
Yeah, about an hour. Yeah, my brother also has a house on the land as well. Over the past.
Sorry, I could.
Do you believe Hunter's behavior has changed at all? I'm just going to say, don't answer that question as it's asked because we need a time frame. What are you talking about? From when to when?
I would say on the positive, I've noticed a lot of change with him he's needed a lot of work with manners and social skills and respect. And he's had a lot of issues of talking back or not talking at all and just kind of ignoring you essentially. And that's happens almost every weekend we get him back. But over the past few months, almost a year, we've had a lot of work with him where he's sometimes surprised me with the things he's said and how he's asked and things he brought up. So I think as he's maturing, he's starting to realize what is okay, what is not okay. What household he gets that from is kind of it's on both ends how it needs to be taught. Oh, about it, he's great. He loves her. He, as much as he doesn't want to admit it, he does. The way he cares for her and brings her stuff or thinks of her, it's very nurturing. You can see that it brings him joy and he enjoys it.
That's all? Okay. Mr. Maslow, do you have any questions for Mr. D?
I guess the only questions that I have are as to, I feel like, I'm not sure if you feel the same, but both parents need time with our son. And as to lately, I don't feel I've had enough time with him. Do you feel the same?
I would say this, going back on it, looking back when we had him throughout the summer in lacrosse, we offered for you to have him over your birthday and over Father's Day. Both times you have denied, and other times we have tried to get you to spend time with him, and there's texts and you have denied it. But I do feel like you both need to spend the equal amount of time with him equally, so he can have his actual father and someone else, another person there that can be like a father figure role. As I told him before, I'm not your dad, I'm your stepdad, but you can look at me like I'm your big brother. I'm going to teach you multiple things that I can, but you do need both parents in order to understand how to develop and become a young man. Sorry if I'm speaking too fast, Your Honor.
I have to apologize to her, not
Sorry.
to me.
I guess that's all I have right now, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Murtaugh?
So you said that you and Athea were middle school sweethearts, middle school, high school.
Yes, ma'am.
Why did you guys break up after high school?
I left for the Air Force and I went directly overseas, and I was in there for 7 years. And then when I returned, we kind of rekindled our relationship.
When did you return?
In 2019 springtime.
Has there, do you have any concerns about Athea having any substance abuse problems?
No,
Do you have any substance abuse issues?
no,
Does Athea have any criminal history that you know about?
no,
Do you have any criminal history?
yes.
What is that?
I have, from a USPS, I issued myself money orders.
What does that mean?
That means I committed fraud
Where was that?
in, Stoddard, Wisconsin.
And were you criminally charged
Yes,
federally?
yes,
Were you convicted?
yes.
When was that?
March 2025.
Are you on probation?
Yes.
How much did you fraudulently issue yourself?
Objection, Your Honor. I don't see how this has to do with the
Relevant
well-being.
answer, it goes to
Okay.
credibility.
5,000.
Was it one occasion?
It was 4 different occasions.
Did you enter a plea?
Yes.
And what did you plead to? Do you know exactly?
Money fraud.
Okay, and what was your sentence?
Probation.
How many years?
3.
Any other criminal history?
Nope.
What's your date of birth?
May 14th, 1993.
You were not convicted of third-degree driving while impaired in Minnesota?
Oh, that was in 2017.
The offense date was in 2017, yes.
Yes.
So you entered a plea there?
I believe so. I was stationed over in Japan, and my lawyer handled pretty much all of it.
Were you there for your plea hearing?
Yes,
Okay, so you entered a plea.
I believe so. I just went there. I was on leave for a couple days, went to the court date, and then went back to Japan.
did you have to do any chemical dependency evaluations or anything?
I did not, but I put myself in one when I was in Japan for my own well-being, and I've been sober for quite a few years.
What's quite a few?
Going on 2 from everything.
So there are substance abuse issues
No.
because you've addressed them.
Yes.
You weren't ordered to do a Rule 25 assessment.
I don't know what that is, but no.
I would just ask the court, and I don't even know, can the court take judicial notice of a Minnesota case?
I can. I won't have a lot of access to it. I will only have very little as I don't get full access to all Minnesota cases.
So it is Washington County, Minnesota, and the case number is 82 CR 172992. Any other criminal history anywhere?
No.
So why don't I, without telling me what Hunter said, I want you to describe what happened the day that he confided in you things that were going, that someone alleges were going on at Dad's.
He just broke down like on the stairs in my parents' basement and just was bawling. And I asked him what was wrong, and he told me, then he just let it all out and told me things that were going on. He never once accused Brad of like, which I have heard many times of things I've been saying, but I know it's going to say hearsay, but he told Hunter said that.
So objection.
Sustained.
And so when you and Hunter were talking about it, what time of day was that?
It was about 11 o'clock at night.
And how long were you guys up talking about this?
Till about 2 or 3 a.m. And then it continued throughout the next 2 days.
Are you satisfied that Hunter is not in any danger at Brad's house?
Yes.
And I don't know if I already asked you this. Did I ask you any anger issues or anything like that you have?
No.
Have you ever been involved with Athea in any domestic incidents?
No.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
All right, Athea, do you have additional questions? All right, so you may step down.
I'm
Well,
sorry,
one
I
more.
do have
You can
one
go
follow-up
ahead.
question. So when you pled to these federal charges, was that before or after you were married?
That was after I was married.
And did Athea know about that?
Yes.
No other questions?
All right, you may step down. Thank you. All right, Ms. Athea, any additional witnesses? Okay, so that's all. Okay, all right. Ms. Murtaugh, do you have any witnesses?
I think I have one.
Okay, that would be Ms. Mattson.
Yes.
Recalling Ms. Mattson. Ms. Mattson, you are still under oath. You may come up here and have a seat at the witness stand.
Ms. Madsen, you mentioned earlier that you've known Athea, I think, since high school.
I think that she was probably maybe 2021. And I was probably about 23, somewhere in there. It was one of the very first few years that Dylan was working at North States. And I believe that it's been about 15 years that he worked there.
Okay. And did you know that Athea had previously dated Mike?
Yes.
Did Athea ever tell you anything about any problems that she and Mike had?
Yes.
When did she tell you about problems?
She had in conversation told me that she had an ex-boyfriend who lived in Alaska and that he was abusive to her.
Did she tell you in what manner he was?
I don't really recall. It wasn't something that I really, I guess, held on to in my brain, but I do know that he was, from my recollection, it was that he was physically as well as just like emotionally and verbally.
And have you ever interacted with Mike?
I have.
And on how many occasions?
Just not even a handful, not even probably 5 times.
And what has your experience been with Mike?
Today, he was very kind. He did articulate to me that Hunter was lying this entire time, that everything Hunter said was all a lie.
Today he said that?
He said that today to me and Paula. And then the time before, though, was a time that was really eye-opening to me. As I said, I mean, you can look at our Facebooks. I'm still friends with Athea, find her to be a friend forever. Same with Bradley. I'm really a neutral party here. I was a neutral party the day that we were last all together in court. When they left court, I said, hey guys, you know, we just got to really sit down and we got to talk about this. And I think that you guys can really come together and work on this and get this figured out just amongst yourselves. It's very expensive to go through custody court. I definitely know that. It's hard to go the timeline that custody court takes. And Michael actually got right up in my face and was yelling at me.
When you say he got right up in your face, could you show me?
He was within a foot of my face,
And
yelling at me. And I'm exceptionally shorter than him too. So it was very intimidating. I was also told that he has post-traumatic stress disorder.
who told you that?
Athea did tell me that. It was just kind of really additionally harsh. I do work with a lot of veterans that have post-traumatic stress disorder. So also being into a situation where I was a neutral party and somebody is essentially verbally attacking me, and it was just a neutral conversation.
Were you scared in that moment?
I was very scared in that moment. I think that Bradley can testify to that too. He was standing right there.
Have you had any other interactions with Mike like that?
That I think was the only time. He was a little disturbed when I served the papers for the case. A little upset that night, but not quite to that extent. And it really was just such a brief, short conversation that it just didn't really need to get to that level at all.
I don't have any other questions.
All right. Mr. Maslow, do you have questions for Ms. Mattson?
I do not.
Ms. Athea, do you have questions for Ms. Mattson?
I cannot hear her.
Yeah, you need to talk in the microphone.
If I remember correctly, he was like right up in my face, just saying that enough is enough about the fact that you two need to be speaking to each other. He got upset because I think that I said something along the lines of, I mean, and at that point, we knew that these allegations were not how they were being said. And so I think I said something along the lines of, you know, this is not how this is actually going. And so I think that you guys need to sit down in a room and figure out Hunter's schedule. And I don't know, it just was like a bomb going off. And then he grabbed your hand and he hoisted you right out the door. I didn't really think that how he was physically touching you in that moment was really something that I thought was necessary either. It just was altogether not really striking me with what you have verbalized to me. It really actually made me kind of afraid for what might be going on behind closed doors. That did not happen. I was not yelling. I don't believe that that happened whatsoever. No, I don't recall even the words of a subpoena. No.
All right, Ms. Murtaugh, any additional questions?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, you are released. Thank you. Any other witnesses, Ms. Murtaugh?
No, Judge.
Okay. So I am now going to ask for, are you ready to be able to provide a recommendation to the court, or do you need some time to let it sit?
No, I'm ready.
Okay, so please provide your recommendation, and then I'm going to ask for the parties, or would you wish to hear their arguments if they have any first?
I'm fine saying my recommendation so they can kind of respond to it.
Okay.
So, I mean, I did tell them before court anyway, but, so my recommendation is that Hunter attend school in Siren and is placed primarily with Bradley during the school year. And that Athea have, every other weekend, and mainly because this was the proposal the other way. Every other weekend. And then I think that because she is available during the day if Hunter is off of school, I think that it's appropriate for her to have the opportunity, if she chooses, to come and spend time with him or take him back to her house, as long as he's back here on Brad's time. In the summer, I would pose that, or my recommendation is that Hunter, or that Athea have primary placement, and that Dad have alternate placement every other Monday, Tuesday. And because he doesn't maybe have the flexibility, and Hunter's not maybe as available as when he's with Athea as he is with Brad, I would, I guess, just say that, you know, maybe once a month or something, he would have 1 or 2 overnights, like during a week, just to give Dad a little bit more time. Mom has the option. I think Dad should have a similar option if he's available and wants to go pick up Hunter for a quick visit or whatever. I just think it's important. And I do think that the parties can work together to make this happen once they have their marching orders. I think that now, I mean, it's hard. They're in court. Of course it's hard. I have heard Athea say that there are problems communicating. I think that they do a lot better than the vast majority of people. But I do think that our family wizard might be helpful, because it does document when someone sends something, when someone reads it, and when someone responds. And that might just help keep everyone honest about when they're communicating and what they're communicating about. I would suggest that they keep the calendar so that they can, everybody knows what's happening with Hunter on any given day, or if something special is coming up. The reason for my recommendation, so I did meet with Hunter. I do not have concerns about Hunter's physical safety, emotional well-being. I have zero concerns when he is with Brad. I do have some concerns about how things are going at Mom's. I have concerns specifically about these allegations. I did follow up with the district attorney's office, and no referral was ever made. We heard that there was no chips case. I don't know what happened. But based on my conversation with Hunter and the remainder of my investigation, I do not have any concerns about him being with Brad. And apparently neither does Athea, nor does Mike. And I'm only including Mike because he is the person that Hunter allegedly confided in. I do have concerns about the motivation for these allegations. What it appears to me is that Athea wanted to have primary placement back, talked to Brad. They couldn't come to an agreement about school, so found a way to make it happen. I have concerns about the nature of Mike's federal conviction. I have concerns about Athea's complete denial that he had any criminal convictions, and he has actually two, and he testified that she knew about one. So I just have concerns about this whole situation and motivation behind it. One thing, I don't know if this came out in the testimony. I will say that one thing that Hunter was very specific about is that he has friends in Siren and he likes the school. He also, and this is from him, I mean, the kid hit on the factors, Judge. He has family here. His dad's family is here. Mom's mom is here. He has his two best friend cousins here. This is where he wants to be. He was also very firm in wanting to spend equal amount of time with both parents. And I think that this is, I do think that primary with dad in the school year and primary with mom in the summer, unfortunately, they're not close together. It would be ideal for them to both have equal time all year long. And I think that's what would be best for Hunter, but here we are. And I think that that's probably the best we can do for him, so.
All right, thank you. Ms. Athea, do you care to make any further argument or statement to the court? All right, Mr. Maslow?
As far as everything goes, it's pretty much kind of what I was wanting as far as the guardian ad litem requested. I know that he misses his time up here and I miss seeing him. He's my world. He's the only thing I got. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have a husband or a wife like she does. You know, she's got a husband.
Child is no replacement. You cannot use that as a replacement for anything else, and they cannot fill that spot that is too heavy on a child.
Right. But yeah.
Okay.
Judge, I just have two things to add. Jointly, I am recommending joint legal custody. And also, if I didn't say it, dad's weekends should be the days he has off work. And again, if I will just say, if the parties are okay with every weekend in the summer and every weekend in the school year, great. I think that is probably good for Hunter. I mean, I don't want to take anyone's weekends away, but if that's what they can work out, great.
All right, thank you. All right, what I do with family cases for the most part is I take it under advisement and I do a written decision. That way you can read what I say and what the decision is, and the words are there instead of just going, okay, what did the judge mean by that? And what was that? Plus, it gives me time to be able to actually think about and digest what I've heard today, because there always is a lot as it relates to family cases.